Welcome everyone to German Tool Reviews. Today we have the Hazet 190L Steel Toolbox. This is the classic cantilever toolbox that Hazet has been making in some form for a long time now. I got a deal I couldn't refuse, so I picked one up. As far as I know, this unit is manufactured in Poland. The first impression from the packaging is that there appears to be a bulge on the very top of the box. It is obvious that the box is slightly too small for the toolbox. I'm sure this is noticeable in the store when they get stacked up on the shelf and they don't seem to stack up quite right. It looks like the production engineer flubbed that one. There's also no this side up or indication as where the package should be opened from, so I guess I'll have to take a guess. And a note to anyone else who is getting this toolbox, do not open it with a blade. As you will see in a second, I made the mistake of trying to open this with a blade and did in fact scratch the top of the paint. One thing you'll notice is that there is no additional packaging for the toolbox, just the 2-ply cardboard box that was considered to be the primary method of protection during transit. After taking it out of the box, you can see the scratch at the blade left when opening it. Not a big deal to me, but it might be to some. There are plenty of companies that sell this kind of sticker pre-made for this very thing. As I opened the top compartment, I got a little surprise. This padlock was not something that I expected to be included, so it was a bonus to get it. It looks like an El Cheapo cast iron padlock with 3 keys. The brand on the back is Topax Tools out of Warsaw, Poland. The writing also looks to indicate that it was imported from Romania. The lock does have a nice snug fit on the lid, and because of this it will not rub the paint as the box is moved around. First major issue you will have is that all the joints are extremely stiff and the box is very hard to open. You almost have to pry it open to get it going the first couple of times. Pretty obvious that this thing was never opened even during production. I believe this is the reason that the aluminum pop rivets were used on the lower base as the final assembly step, in which the top compartments were married with the lower base. It seems quite suspect that different types of rivets would be used on the base rather than the rest of the joints. The way that these cantilever toolboxes are supposed to work is that you push down on the handle to open the box and pull up to close it. Obviously this particular box is a long way to go before that happens. I think I can see the problem is that it looks like the cantilever arms were riveted and then painted with the blue color. When this happened, it actually caused the paint to break on the inside part of some rivets and on the outside parts of others. Anytime you have connected joints not rotating on the same plane, you will get binding, which I think is what is happening here. So in an effort to alleviate the problem, I'm first going to start off with some 3-in-1 lubricating oil. This definitely helped, but it was still quite stiff. I did notice that some of the joints produced a black discharge after this, so it got me thinking that maybe there was some corrosion behind the rivets. I then drenched all of the joints with PB Blast or penetrating oil to hopefully flush out any rust or corrosion that may have formed, and this did help a little bit more. Next, I tried using some heat and a rubber mallet to hopefully break loose the paint on the other joints, but it did not seem to help very much. Finally, the best way I found to loosen it up is just to exercise the joints a couple of 100 times. Yes, I probably literally did this 100 times until I got it to the point where I was happy with it. This is the first time I've literally had to break in a toolbox before using it. There were also some other minor quality issues with the toolbox. As you can see here, a burr almost the entire length of the edge was missed before painting. This is what it should have looked like. There was also another small one that was missed as well. I don't know if this black discharge from the rivets is normal from all the penetrating oil that I added. It seems worse on some rivets than others. And just some basic dimensions of the box. The width of the compartments is around 200 millimeters, with the middle and top compartments dividing this into 2 halves. The middle compartment is a rectangle shape and gives around 50 millimeters of height. The top compartment has a trapezoidal shape, with the inner height being 60 millimeters and the outer height being 50 millimeters. The bottom compartment has around 100 millimeters of depth. The total width of all the compartments is around 540 millimeters. With the enamel, the handle measures about 16.5 millimeters diameter, and there are around 55 millimeters clearance to the top of the box, so there shouldn't be any problems using it with heavy gloves. If you can look past the issue of the joints being too stiff, then this looks like it would be a good automotive toolbox, as the top 2 compartments are perfect for sockets and wrenches. One thing to note is that even empty, this box does have some significant weight to it, probably around 10 pounds. Keep this in mind if you're planning on loading it with a lot of tools, as it might not be movable after a while. Well, that wraps up the review of the Hazet 190L Cantilever Toolbox. Check out the link in the description below to the full review, including additional high-resolution photos not shown here. If you like this video, subscribe for more reviews of German brand tools.